Has it been hard for you? Was it hard initially, anyways, to find um, to keep your audience interest? How do I put this? You become famous for doing one thing, and then it's time to move on, and sometimes audiences won't let you.
That's correct.
So
Well,
was it hard to move on
no, it wasn't hard
you
to
were so
move
popular?
on. Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't hard to move on because, from our angle and our point of view, looking at it subjectively, I hadn't played in America for a long time, since 1977. And the band disbanded in 1980, and without John, there was no real. For me, there was the heart of the group had gone, and the sort of motive behind carrying on would have been a lot different with a new member, a different personnel. It would be, it just wouldn't be what it had been. The power of invention, the fun, the chaos, the drama, the kind of chemical interaction between the four guys was, I think, it was obviously responsible for some fantastic music. It was responsible for some beautiful music, and it would be ridiculous to try and replace it. So to stand on my own, finally, under those circumstances, was very arresting, and I felt very moved, and I realized that I'd lost a really important part of my life when John moved on and passed away. And
Right.
I knew that whatever I had to do it by my own volition and do it on my own. And it didn't matter one way or another what happened, just so long as I understood what my priorities were from that time onwards, and I had to go it alone.
Led Zeppelin was one of the bands that kind of created heavy metal. Whether you consider their music heavy metal or not, it certainly led the way for heavy metal. Are there things that you would like to and not like to take credit for in the bands that came after and were inspired in part by Zeppelin?
Well, sort of the inspiration or the lift, if you like, was multifaceted in many respects. So many drummers emulated John, and so many guitarists emulated Jimmy. And I'm sure that John Paul Jones's bass playing, being what it was studied by bass players everywhere. So on a musical level, it was very flattering, I'm sure, for all the guys to see and to hear the way that people had taken their style and taken it into their own capability one way or another. And you did see a lot of guitarists leaning back. The whole style of presentation was lifted, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's a great compliment, if you like. Also, it is quite simplistic. It's just full force rock and roll with some imaginative writing and some great displays of creativity and power. But the actual taking the music and the songs and then moving them around a little bit, people take a little thread of this, that, and the other. We were talking about A Whole Lot of Love for their own benefit all through time, whether it's Pearl Jam, the Beastie Boys, Mother Love Bone, it's going on everywhere. Now, I don't know too much about any of that, and I don't have an opinion one way or another, because I think that the popular music as a mainstay of sort of pop culture is rather like a kind of thieving magpie. It kind of swoops down and takes a little bit of this and a pinch of that and a touch of this and a touch of that. And, the nuances of Led Zepp that they couldn't touch were the beautiful parts that were just unattainable, I guess.
What do you think of when you see other bands like from the heavy metal era who at their age are still doing the big heavy metal thing and doing it in full regalia? I'm thinking of like Kiss or Aerosmith.
Well, is it a means to an end? I mean, it's satisfying some need, not with the audience, because really when you get to our time as entertainers, as performers, you can afford to be quite selfish as to how you want to go about things. I mean, in truth, the idea of when success arrives, it's such a kind of peculiar phenomena to realize that what you're doing is actually being accepted by a huge amorphous mass of mankind, that it must be, and I'm sure that it was, if I can't remember today, it must have been quite addictive. this kind of worship and respect, and I think if people want to maintain that as some kind of pattern of life in their 50s, then that's their choice. But there's so many other ways to sing and to perform and to project and to learn. And my time in Timbuktu with those musicians was a learning process and a learning curve which has made me a better singer. I think that rather than just keep on repeating and revisiting old, well-tried and tested pathways, there are two paths you can go by.
Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. And it makes me wonder, your head is humming and it won't go, in case you don't know.
That's Led Zeppelin and Stairway to Heaven. We'll close with the track Robert Plant was just talking about, which was recorded at a festival in Timbuktu last year. It's featured on Robert Plant's new CD, 66 to Timbuktu, which collects recordings he made before and after Zeppelin. Plant is also featured on the CD Festival in the Desert, a concert recording of the festival in Timbuktu. Fresh Air's executive producer is Danny Miller. Our engineer today is Audrey Bentham. Dorothy Farabee is our administrative assistant. Roberta Shurrock directs the show. I'm Terry Gross.
Well, it's alright, Mama. Oh, baby, that's alright for you. Oh, that's alright, baby. Baby, baby. Mama, that's alright for you. Treat me low down, dirty. Hey, any old way you do. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know you got me crawling, babe, and the grass grows very high. I'm just gonna keep on crawling up until the day I die. Crawl up to your window, crawl up to your door, crawl any way you want now, baby. Gonna crawl across your floor. All I see turns to brown as the sun burns the ground. And my eyes filled with sand.